Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kyle Pancis, and if it's your first time tuning in, please be sure to hit the subscribe button below. Today I'm here presenting to you a brand new 2021 Karma. The Karma Revero is actually won many awards in 2020. In fact, it won the Green Luxury Award of 2020. And that is because this vehicle is powered with an electric motor in the rear and a 4-cylinder engine in the front, producing 550 horsepower and 560 foot-pounds of torque. And if you'd ask my opinion, it's a lot of power for a nice luxury sedan such as this one. Before we actually get inside the car, let's take a walk around the car. Starting from the front, you guys can see that it's got a really aggressive front end. In fact, this is providing us with one of the largest noses I've ever seen on a car. And what's so funny about it is inside is just this small 4-cylinder engine, which they even call a generator on the spec sheet. The spec sheet calls it a 258 horsepower generator, not even an engine. So that's kind of a very fascinating approach to what's underneath that hood. But as you can see, it's got a sleek, very aggressive look. Coming to the side of the car, guys, we got 22-inch rims. These are carbon fiber rims, and there's different options that you guys can have, which is a very interesting lightweight approach that Karma put onto this car to keep this vehicle conscious of its weight. In the front here, we got Brembo brakes that are 4-piston, and of course, just by driving it down the road, we'll talk about it in a little bit, gives a lot of stopping power for this car. And as you can see, the wave of the front hood just continues down the side. So let's continue down the side of this car and I'll share with you a little more. So now we're at the rear of the Karma, and as you can see, that aggressive shoulder kind of continues to tie in to the rear of the car, and you got a nice slick look on the rear on this vehicle. And over here you have a filler for gas, and on the other side you have an outlet for your electric plug-in. So this is a plug-in hybrid. Opening up this aggressive tail of the vehicle, you guys can see you have a nice short trunk lid here, and inside you have a decent amount of storage. It's actually a very shallow trunk. So this is not a vehicle that you would per se take on a long road trip for a long travel, because obviously there's limited storage in here if you're gonna pack suitcases. But if you're gonna do a weekend trip, or let's say a night out at a gathering or a wedding, this is a perfect trunk to have a nice overnighter. And you know, this vehicle is great for getting around town, commuting locally, and of course not having to worry about the environment, and of course worrying about running out of battery, since it's a hybrid plug-in electric engine. So there is the storage space in the trunk. Again, it's not the largest of the sedan category, but again, I think it would do the trick for what this car serves its purpose as. All right, guys, so we are in the back seat of the Karma Revero, and as you can see here, I'm 5'8", and I have a decent amount of headroom here. I mean, if somebody was a little bit taller than me, they might have a little bit of trouble. They'd have to sink down a little bit more in the seat. But for me at 5'8", I think up to 6 feet here, and the seat accordingly adjusted in the front, you have plenty of leg room, and of course, nice comfort with your armrests on both the door and on this long center console that extends from the front. It's really wonderful. And of course, you have some storage here in the center, controls for the windows, and 2 cup holders for both yourself and the passenger sitting next to you. Very nice, with some great overhead lighting in here. One cool feature that I should note while I'm back here is opening up the door is an electronic button that you just press, and of course opens up the door. So I'm gonna step into this car and show you guys a little bit around the infotainment system, and I really hope you guys enjoy this part of the video. All right, so before we get started driving the Karma, we get inside the car. You have your key, just put your foot on the brake, tap the start button, and as you can hear, you get some chimes that are very pleasant to the ear, and the car just not making a sound. So here's the infotainment system in the center here. Really elegant display on the dash where you have all your touch for your climate control, which is a dual climate control. You have your top left there, which is your radio, home button. You got your phone which you can pair. You can either pair your phone like you're seeing like a typical traditional phone, or you can always connect your car with your iPhone or Android and have hands-free. Now this is one of my coolest screens on the car. Really what this is going to allow you to do is see where the power source is coming from as you're driving. So if you're on pure electric mode, which I'll show you guys here shortly, it will show more of the power coming from the rear, which is where the electric motor is. And then of course, if you're running with the engine, you have power coming from there as well. So it will display that nicely on the display screen here. Engine RPMs, which at this point is going to be 0 because we are strictly on electric power currently. So this is just a little bit of a tour. This is the electric screen I was just sharing with you, but this is just a little tour of the infotainment system that this car has to offer. Everything is super pleasant to touch, super responsive, and so far really interesting. Here you guys have your mirror controls on the touchscreen. That is really cool. So if we wanted to do the left side, I touch this and there you go. That is really neat. I've never seen anything like that before in the car world, and of course super responsive and kind of neat. This button here is if you're reversing and you want your camera mirrors to go down, you just tap that and the mirrors will go down and adjust accordingly. Pretty cool. Butt warmers, defrost, camera, gives you a 360 view of the car, which is really cool. Not anything uncommon in this car world today in 2021, but again, this touchscreen and infotainment system, as you can see, is extremely responsive and very crisp and just very elegant to work with. I just hit your climate system. You have heated and ventilated seats in this car, dual climate control, heated front steering wheel, which will turn on today in this nice fall weather that we have, auto climate control, and back to the home screen. So in the center dash here, we have 2 cup holders, decent amount of little storage for the key. Inside here as well, more storage, and then there's your hookups for your Apple CarPlay, Android CarPlay, and some storage. Windows in the center, which is typical. 1 touch down, 1 touch up, and then in the center here you have your drive mode, neutral, and reverse. So let's go ahead and take this thing on a drive. All right, everybody, so welcome inside the Karma Revero. We're gonna go for the first drive, and my first initial thought getting into this car is really just how futuristic it feels in here. It's silent. All you hear is just the fans of the climate control system and the electric motors working while you input whatever inputs that may be, whether it's the gas or the brake. Now, the other cool thing that I think about when I'm in this car is it's not really like, it's very aerospacey in here. The roof line, as you saw outside the car, is very sleek, and the hood just pops out at you. I've never been in a car where the hood is really like all you see in the front. It's pretty incredible, and that's my first initial thought, is like, wow, that hood is just boom right there in front of you, and really kind of neat to feel, not neat to see. The car feels really tight. All the inputs are very sensitive, not sensitive if you will, but direct. And what's nice is the brakes don't feel super touchy, and the car doesn't keep you at a stop if you lift your brake up, but I'm sure there's a feature that I can hit to accommodate. This vehicle is also equipped with adaptive cruise control, lane assist, and of course all of the technologies that go along with that. In this video clip here, I'm going to show you on the left trigger of the steering wheel, it gives you 3 modes of driving. You have the sport mode, stealth mode, and of course sustain. Sustain is keeping the sustaining of the battery life. And of course, if you go into sport mode, it's going to juice up all of the power, giving you adjustments in the suspension and the drivetrain, and of course the steering. One other neat thing about this car is on the right side that you'll see in that little video clip I just shared with you is a trigger, a paddle shift if you will, that gives you 3 options for regenerating the power of the battery. So when you release the gas pedal, it's gonna go into regen. And the regen 1 to 3 is the intensity of the battery recharge. In regen 1, it's gonna give you the least amount of haptic kickback when you release the gas pedal, meaning it's gonna give you the least amount of charge on the regen. But let's say you're just traveling around town and you're kind of commuting in the area locally, it's really not a bad feature to have, because who likes to be in a car that you're constantly stopping and going, especially when you have passengers? So the regen 1 and regen 2 is really nice if you're just kind of cruising around, whether it's on the highway or locally in the town, so you're not feeling so much of that feedback on the braking. Now, if I go into Gen 3, which I just did, it literally will bring the car almost to a stop. I'm down at 10 miles an hour here, 5 miles an hour, and it, you know, pretty much brings you to a stop. So if you're gonna use regen 1, I would suggest it's probably not a bad position to be in if you're in traffic. And I just gave this thing some gas, and it is just really touchy on the gas. It's cool. And of course, I'm in stealth mode, so around town, I'm driving on the 80 miles of the battery life that it gives you, and it's giving you 550 horsepower. It's a lot of power for stealth mode around town, guys. I'm gonna put that into performance sport mode, and it kicks on the engine a little bit. And I have to be careful because the roads are wet. I just floored it at like 40 and I spun the tires. And I just heard the engine kick on. So I'm in sport mode. You can probably hear the engine kick on. It is not allowing me to floor it right now. I don't know why. But it's probably a good thing I didn't floor it, because I just passed a cop. It says performance temporarily restricted. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The vehicle runs pretty well. It seemed to have a little bit of a power hiccup. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to tell them inside. But these are just quirks. Who knows? Maybe it was just a programming situation from the factory, since it's got only a few miles on the car. Maybe it just is in you know, factory mode and not taken out. So I'll have to let them know. But overall, the drive feels pretty neat. The car feels pretty responsive. And as you saw, it's got some really awesome features that it has to offer. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, the little walk around of the Karma and a slight taste of the drive. Pretty interesting car. I think this is the wave of the future, one that has an electric motor and an engine. I think that it's a nice hybrid of both being efficient and green, as well as being able to drive long distance and not have to worry about a charge. It's pretty neat in here, very comfortable, slick looking car, as you guys saw. And I'm not uncomfortable. The seats are really comfortable, and the car feels like it handles really nicely. It is a little wet out, so I didn't want to go too crazy, but based on some of the cars in the class, in the competition, I won't name those brands, this thing seems like it wants to handle a little bit more like a performance sedan. And it's not, I think it's got a nice all-around feel of everything it has to offer. It does really well. So I will link the description, in the description I'll link the website for the dealership here in North Jersey in Summit. So if you guys are interested in Karma or other vehicles that they have to offer, you guys can check that out for yourselves. Again, please give this video a like, comment below, and subscribe if you can. Follow me at Kyle Pancis if you guys like to follow more automotive stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.